one of my favorites. I guess it's another oldie but goodie, and I appreciate poetry mainly for the opportunity it gives us to kind of like air out our faults, our weaknesses, you know, the stuff that we wouldn't necessarily spark up in a random conversation. So this was one of my moments where I felt like, you know, I didn't really want to express this through conversation with too many folks, so I did it on a page in a poem. So it's called The Other Half. So as I sit here less than 10 feet away from his wife, I realize I love him like I did before I believed she actually existed. Where does he find the time? Thought she was just an imagination figment, but she isn't. Thought this moment would be more traumatic than this, but it isn't. And at first, I feel nothing, except a little curiosity as I sit over here and she sits over there and he is somewhere. Resisting the urge to stare, I lower my head, not in shame, but contemplation of this awkward situational comedy in the making. Can't help but laugh as I clean conjure justifications from underneath my nails in case I had to shake her hand. After all, she's married to the man. She probably recognized the residue of that charm of his. There was supposed to be no harm in this loosening of my conventions on the whim of an attraction. Don't know if there's a heaven, so I bartered my free pass in, hoping karma don't come asking for validation of this decision, because I would have no evidence to support my case. Because I used to say that I could never be the woman to look the woman whose husband she's fucking in the face, to offer her a greeting or a smile, with the same mouth that has taken him on vacation down south below the Mason-Dixon line several times. But what now, poet? What's the next step? They say never let them see you sweat, and I didn't. Gotta poker face it now. Face myself in the mirror later and wonder what will become of we unbecoming lovers, cause ain't no turning back once you pull back the covers. He grabs my hips, told me she was tripping, so he hated to have to make this quick. Sensing a hint of guilt, I insist that he not concern himself with me, and it was then that I felt it. Something ugly and cold. Something I witnessed firsthand at 12 years old when I was still married to God until some 19-year-old stained sheets and defamed me. We laid down for a bit of bliss in the midst of Armageddon. Then he went home to his home wreckage, covered in the dust of us from the rubble of our Tower of Babel's demolition, scarred with the stigmata of a conscious crucifixion, no asylum through ascension, so I chose to accent them. Good thing scarlet letters are always on sale just below retail, but only a smudge stole the details of his wedding ring. From the distance, there is harmony, branded in the echoes of I do's bouncing off the walls of our secret rendezvous. And this costly sacrifice don't seem worth its asking price. Of our good names, our reputations, our genuine friendship, should this sin cause the fall of his foundation. And I wish I could see an end to this, but what's in a wish if you ain't got a wishing well to pinch a penny for his thoughts, or a nickel for his kiss, or the fistful of ignorance that I swap for my 6th sense, and there she is, the other half of his bank account, bearer of his last name. Oblivious to the amount of change that I'm holding in my pocket, and I pray that this woman doesn't ask if I can spare a dime, because right now the space is so fine between his 1.5 and my moral contemplation, like the distance between 2 radio stations, and I can feel the static as she brushes past me, holding their child fast asleep. Through closed eyes, the child asks me, what kind of person are you to be threatening my family? And I can't answer because I don't know.
Then